stuff. All right, welcome back. Today is Tuesday, January 5th, 2021. We are heading into a fabulous new year. Our agenda today is we are going to review our Google Meets etiquette for those of us that are online right now. We are going to review our class norms. We are going to review and recite our mission statement and goals. Then we are going to go over our warm-up. I'm under the impression that you guys have kind of already started it, so I think that might be kind of a time saver for us. If once the announcements are over with, if you guys start working on the warm-up, that might, kind of give us a little bit more time later on to take care of some stuff. Then we are going to go, you guys know that when I take notes, all you have to do is copy down the notes, submit a picture or a short video showing that you were following along. And it's the easy 100, right? And so we're going to go through our notes. It's going to be cute coloring. You guys know I like to get colorful. And then you will take a picture or a short video and get 100% credit for that. All right, Google etiquette, because I see some of you have your cameras off. Number one, please make sure that you show up on time. Congratulations, you all did. Hey! Make sure you are working in a quiet place. You guys are sitting at home, so I know it's a whole lot different. But let's start out this new year finding a place that we can focus and study and sit and be good to go. Make sure you have all your supplies ready and available. You are at school. So just like at my house, when I sit down to do work, I am at a desk. You kind of need to find a place, too, to do the same thing. If it happens to be your kitchen table, maybe put all your supplies in a little Dollar Tree basket. Carry them around with you. Take them from your room, then the kitchen table. Make sure you have all your stuff with you. Mute your microphone if you have a question. Mute your microphone, okay? Because if you try to talk or the noise in your background will end up drowning me out and then nobody can hear. Make sure your video is on. That is a district policy. Please make sure your video is on. I know that some of you do not want to be in the video, but you don't have to worry about it. It's just us. So I have a few of you who still have your videos off. Please find a way to turn that on. If you are having technical difficulties, you might want to contact the help desk to help you with that. Please make sure you raise your hand using the nod. I believe that everybody has the new nod buttons that come with Google Meets. It makes it a whole lot easier. I can see that a little bit better. I don't know if you know it, but on my end, it makes this little dink noise whenever somebody raises their hand. Make sure that you are sitting up fully engaged in your learning. We are not lounging around or laying down in bed. If you lounge and lay, all the knowledge that you are receiving from me is going to leak right out of your ears, right? We want to keep all that knowledge up there in that head because knowledge is power. And then we always leave at the end of the meeting. I know the bottom one says make sure you're only using the chat when your teacher tells you to use it. We don't use it. We don't have a need for it. But I'm going to leave that there just in case. Our classroom norms are to be kind, be respectful, and be working. Our mission statement. We will work together as friends and family. In Mrs. Met's class. To gain more knowledge, to work, and to learn. So we can all be successful. We will listen to each other, help each other, and encourage each other. We will make things happen and show the world. We will not accept anything short of the best. All right, some of you have your hand raised. Let me go ahead and pause so I can call out your name. Our class goal is 100% of Mrs. Met students will show growth on unit assessments throughout the 2020-2021 school year. They will accomplish this goal by being purposeful and intentional with their time and learning. Today's learning objective in science is you know that the Earth consists of useful resources and its surface is constantly changing. You are expected to observe and identify slow changes to the Earth's surface caused by weathering, erosion, and deposition from water, wind, ice, and plants. You will know you have learned this by submitting your notes for, and it says WED. WED does not mean Wednesday. It means weathering, erosion, and deposition. Okay? All right. Our warm-up champs expectation is your communication level is a 0. You're working independently. If you need help, raise your hand and wait patiently. Your activity is your reading, thinking, solving, typing, drawing. Your movement is to please stay in your seat. You will get a break at the end of class to take a quick little restroom break before you get on your meeting with Miss Harani. And then stay focused on your work, okay? Our participation is fully engaged in what we're doing right now. We are at work right now. We are here to get an education and receive an education. And then so that we can all be successful. So here's the warm-up. I'm going to go ahead and give you, I know many of you have started. I'm going to go ahead and give you 2 minutes to kind of jot down a few more thoughts, and then we will go ahead and share what we have, and I will complete mine along with you. Thumbs up. Everybody's ready? All right, I'm setting your timer for 2 minutes. Set a 2-minute timer.
Okay, 2 minutes and counting.
And go. I'm going to give you a couple more minutes while I finish up what I'm doing real quick. All right, let me get this screen. Oh, I gotta change what I'm presenting to you guys, so give me just a second because you will not be able to see what I'm doing. And then we can get back to recording. Oh, y'all have some hand raised. Why is it not beeping at me? Rebecca, what can I help you with?
I was wondering what that last picture was.
It is a person playing a harp of some sort, like a small one. Not a big one, like a small one. I don't know what they're called.
Okay.
Good question, though. Thanks for asking. All right, before I continue on with this and start recording, raise your hand if you did not get to the warm-up. Like, do you know where to go? Everybody knows where to go, yes? So everybody was able to look at the warm-up. Rebecca and Scarlett, do y'all still have a question? Talia, do you have a question?
You already answered it.
Aw, fantastic. I do want to remind you, please make sure that your camera is on so that I know that you are fully involved in our beautiful learning opportunities. Yes? Cameras are on. It's just like being in the classroom. If y'all were in the classroom, I could see y'all are sitting in your seat, right? It's kind of what I need to see here. I need to see you sitting there in front of your computer, fully engaged in what we're doing. You are going to get the most out of it if you are here with me. A couple of you still have your cameras off. If there is an issue with your cameras, I'm going to ask that you please contact the help desk. See if they can't help you get that turned back on. All right. I'm going to remind you guys, I'm going to go ahead and hit record so that I can record the warm-up. Please wait for me to call on you if you have any questions, because what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get really good at pausing before I call out your name, okay? All right, our warm-up, here we go. No, we do not have to do Monday because we were not here yesterday. We will be doing Tuesday. Hang on just a second. I know a couple of you have raised your hand. I'm going to wait because if I have to stop and pause every 2 seconds, we will never get through anything. So what I'm going to try to do is try to kind of get through the lesson, and I may end up piecing it so that we can get the most out of our time right now. So I know some of you have questions. I'm going to ask that you wait. Let's get through this warm-up, and then I will get to those questions. Somebody keeps, I don't want to say your name because I'm recording right now, but could you please quit clicking the raise your hand button? Because it keeps going bloop, 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 bloop. Let's not do that. Let's wait. Thank you. All right. The warm-up. So our warm-up says, I need a pen. There's a pen. The warm-up says, there are forms of energy used every day. Some objects use more than one form. Look at the picture below and fill in the table. There are 5 forms of energy: mechanical, light, thermal, electrical, and sound. So we're going to look at this. That first object is a little bitty candle. So, you know what? I like y'all's participation, so I'm going to go ahead and pause my recording. I'm going on there. All right. So what we are doing today is taking notes on weathering. Oh, look at that. Y'all, look at this. You'll see that. Them are some fancy markers. I totally forgot that I bought those. I feel special now. All right. So we are going to be talking about weathering, erosion, and deposition. So I'm going to write on top weathering, erosion, and deposition. Now, while you guys are writing that down, I am going to go over, because y'all know that I do this twice, right? Because I make anchor charts. So I'm going to go over here to my big old poster and write the same thing. Weathering, erosion, and deposition. See, you're still writing, so I will give you just a second. And also, if I am going too fast, don't fret too much about it, because what I'm going to start doing is once all the notes are done, I will also post a completed picture of the notes in the assignment as well. So there's always the video and there's always going to be a copy of the completed notes. So if you miss something, you can always go back, get it done, and then submit it. Because even though we do this all in class, and ideally, I would love for you to be able to click, you know, take your picture and your video at the end of class and submit it before the end of the day. Please note you technically have till midnight to get it done, right? Now, I don't recommend waiting that long, because putting it off doesn't mean it goes away. It just means you're putting it off. So we don't want to do that. Let's get it done while I'm doing it with you so that you can submit it. All right, so I'm going to zoom out because I'm kind of going to draw this big old picture of a waterfall. Okay, see my big old picture? So what I'm going to do, bear with me for a minute, is I'm going to kind of draw a hill. So we have this hill. And if you notice, I don't go all the way to the end, right? I'm not going all the way to the end because I'm going to draw some water there. So I have some of my waves crashing in. My rolling waves crashing into the bank. That looks like bluegrass. It's not bluegrass. It's waves. Big old rolling waves, right? Kind of like being at the ocean. All right. Then I'm going to have a little waterfall coming down. All the way down to my little puddle. All the way down here. The rolling water. I'm going to put me a little tree down here, because sometimes trees grow by the side of lakes. Get me a tree. I'm also going to kind of draw these big old boulders. You know? And I will explain all of this after we get done with our beautiful little drawing, right? Put some clouds up here. And some raindrops. Get some grass growing on the side of the hill. Yes, my grass is in the form of V's here. I don't know if that worked. Now they look like flying pieces of grass, huh? Never said I was an artist. Never said. And then I'm going to put some big old rocks rolling down the hill. I kind of want to make them get smaller. Because it gets smaller as it rolls down, right? And then there's going to be some that are going to fall down through the water. We'll explain all of this. Now, I want you to remember that we have talked about 4 different ways that that weathering occurs slowly. We've only talked about 4. Now, keep in mind, there's so many others. We focus on 4. We focus on wind, water, ice, and plants, right? Wind, water, ice, and plants. So we've learned that through wind, the wind will blow across like cliffs and stuff, and if it blows hard enough, it will wear away the rocks off of, or wear away little bitty, like almost to the point where you can't see it, particles off of rocks. And then it travels through the air, and when the wind stops blowing, it drops it off somewhere, okay? Then we've talked about water. So we've showed, I don't remember if y'all remember where there was like an arc in the middle of the ocean, but there was a hole that had been weathered away in the middle because the waves had gone in, and every time the waves hit the big huge rock in the ocean, it was breaking little bitty pieces off. And then the water takes it up to shore and drops it off. And then we have ice. And so we may not see that a whole lot here in Texas, but if you go up north, you might see it a lot. Well, let's say that you have like a roadway or even just rocks where it rains a little bit or it snows, and then the ice and the water, it melts, and then it gets really cold and it freezes inside of that rock. Well, when water freezes, it expands. So then it cracks whatever it is in, and then when it melts, the little bitty fine particles that have broken off will then travel with the water and then be deposited somewhere else. And then plants, of course. We've talked about plants growing. I don't know if y'all have ever walked along an old sidewalk where you see like the roots of the trees coming up through the concrete of the sidewalk. Well, if you go to some of these older neighborhoods, you might see that, okay? And or even in some of these older homes, like even at my house, you can see where the roots have tried to come up through my front sidewalk, and so my sidewalk is all cracked, okay? So that's another way. So remember, the 4 ways of weathering that we've talked about is wind, water, ice, and plants, okay? Give me let's do 1 to 3. 1 to 3, how many more minutes do y'all need to finish doing this drawing before we actually start writing our notes on them? 1 to 3. Or I guess 0. Now it's also 0. 1, 2, 3, or 0. How many minutes do you need to finish doing this little drawing before we add our notes? So it looks like most of you are ready to go. Are we ready? Oh, nope, we have 1. I'm going to go ahead and give you 2 minutes. I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes, okay? Set a timer for 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes and counting.
I'm going to start up here. So what I'm going to do is like this first, I'm going to write the word for weathering and then the definition, and then we'll do somewhere in the middle, erosion, and then we'll do deposition. So we just have those three things to write, okay? So this first one, the definition of weathering. I'm going to write weathering. okay? Weathering, erosion, and deposition. Weathering, erosion, and deposition. So I kind of wanted you to see the placement of these words, and then I'll write definitions and some information up and around it before I zoom in, okay? So weathering, erosion, and deposition. I'm going to give you a second, and then I'm going to zoom it in, all right? That way you can see the words that I'm writing. Thumbs up when you're ready for me to zoom in. Got a few more I'm waiting on. All right, so I'm going to zoom into the weathering, and then we are going to write down what that means. See, zooming all the way in. Can't miss that, can you? All right, so weathering. We want to remember this because weathering breaks apart. It breaks it. We know that the process, the slow process of the earth changing occurs through weathering, erosion, and deposition. Weathering is the process that breaks it all down, okay? It breaks it all down. So the definition is the breakdown of materials of Earth's crust, which is the surface, right, into smaller pieces. Into smaller pieces. I will give you guys a minute to write that down. So remember, weathering breaks it. The weathering process of this cycle breaks it apart. So it's the breakdown of materials of Earth's surface, the crust, into tiny itty bitty pieces. And it's kind of like, let's say that the wind blows a big huge boulder off the side of the cliff. Well, it's smaller, right? The cliff is pretty big, and so the boulder is smaller. And then over time, if the wind keeps blowing on that boulder, it's going to break it down even smaller, right? Just like, do y'all remember the chalk and the salt? Do you remember when we stirred the chalk and the salt and it wore that? That's kind of like the salt was kind of like the wind, right? That was the demonstration of the wind rubbing up against a rock to break it down. So I'll give you a minute to write that. see some of y'all are still writing, so I'm going to let you, like I said, we may not get through all of these today, and that's totally fine. What I'll end up doing is I will end up changing the assignment in Canvas so that it's not due until tomorrow. Because I can go in and change the date. So it's not that big of a deal. It is so fantastic. I am so glad to see you all. Love it. Oh, hang on. I got a bloop. That bloop tells me somebody hit a button. Hang on. Hang on. I got to pause before I call you out. So let's talk about erosion. Erosion is the process that takes it. So weathering breaks it, erosion takes it, okay? So erosion is the process by which water, ice, wind, or gravity moves the fragments. So it's moving it. So it is the process which water, ice, wind, or gravity moves the fragments. Can I use the word pieces instead? Let's use the word pieces. All right. So, I am going to stop right here. I have a timer going off telling me that we need to kind of wrap it up. So I'm going to stop right here. Now remember, please do not lose this paper. We will finish it tomorrow. Do you understand? And we do not have time that if you misplace it tonight, we do not have time to wait for you to redo it all. So put it in a safe place. I really hope that you guys have like a binder or a journal. I mean, you're supposed to have a science journal, right? But I really hope that you have a safe place to put this paper in so that you can tuck it in there. And we're going to start right here tomorrow, okay? So today, I am not going to ask you to take a picture or a video and submit it. Thumbs up, y'all understand. Does anybody not understand that? Okay, guys, if you don't, or you're kind of confused as to what's going on, please let me know. All right, so we all understand. We are not submitting this today. We will finish it tomorrow, submit it tomorrow, and then you will have a short 10-question quiz to take on it. Thumbs up that you all understand? Are we all good? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.